Thank you, Mama. Ed, what's going on? Gotta get your tires fixed on your bike, man, and make it out for this bike ride July 18th. Wilfred Nelson, what's going on? Croc, what? We ain't taking no for an answer, Ed. We ain't taking no for an answer. If you're not here on the 18th, it's a problem. Trish, how's it going upstate? How's Kat doing? Everything's well down here. Everything's well down here. Who's that, Wilfred? Oh, gotcha. Definitely, she was a good guess. Welcome to episode 43 of the Positive Impact Podcast, where we talk about all topics relevant to the game I love. I am your host, Terrell Dozier, and tonight's guest, as we count down to 50 episodes, is the founder of NYGHoops, Mr. Joe Fenelon. Joe, do me a favor and request to be seen, please. Yeah, it says you're unable to join, Joe. Can you request to be seen? Can you send a request to be seen, Joe? Of course I follow you. I just waved at you. But can you request to be seen so I can accept your invitation or log off and come back on? Sorry for the technical difficulties. I cannot request you because I'm getting an unable to join message on here. There you go. Jeez.
My fault, Coach.
Jeez. What's going on?
We're gonna have to make this one a goodie. Any questions I'll answer.
I appreciate that.
I was figure it out. I thought maybe because I had it on my computer, then I had it on there. I'm not too sure what happened.
Yeah, you definitely can't do it on. You definitely can't do it on a laptop.
No, I knew that, but I had it on the laptop. That's how I was typing to you.
Oh, okay. Okay. What's going on though?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm happy, share some time with you. I'm happy to see you okay.
I'm good.
Love it. I don't know if I can pull it off, but
listen, I'm not really Dave's joint. What's going on, man? My man
what's
Dave.
up, Dave?
Nah, man. This is that COVID look right now, man. I gotta go with it right now. You know what I mean? I'm looking old, but I gotta stay with it. I'm in my Tom Hanks castaway mode right now.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, I'm starting to emulate some of the stuff you do. I went and got a bike. I've ridden the last 2 days, 3.6 miles yesterday. Today 4.
Health. Listen, man. Health is wealth, man. Health is wealth, man. So tell me how you got the little baby. How you and your family doing during this time?
You know what? I think that's the blessing. my first child, and like I'd probably be running around. I'd had my event, then I went to North Carolina, then I went back to Georgia, then I went to the All-American game in Texas. I'd have been all over the place.
Right.
And I just been home watching my little man grow. So I'm seeing every step of the way right now, and I'm grateful.
Nice. Yeah.
I get to see my family. I get to see him every day. So
Right.
it's a blessing.
Nice.
How's your family?
We good. I feel the same way. You know what I mean? Like, fortunately we haven't been personally impacted by the COVID. So for me, it's been an opportunity to kind of reset, establish this platform that I have right now. So it's been a blessing for me. I know it hasn't been a blessing for everybody, but for me, honestly, it's been a blessing. Like the extra time has been a blessing for me and my family. So, let's dive into this thing, man, and let's give the people what they want, man. So, talk to them about who Joe Fenelon is, man. And I know you don't like to do that a lot, but give me some background and talk about growing up in Brooklyn.
Born and raised in Brooklyn, quiet guy, sports guy my whole life. Grew up in Evansville. A lot of people know Evansville, Jackie Robinson. Just a sports guy. I can remember as young as being like 10, 12, walking to practice like 3-4 miles away to play football. I tried my hand at basketball. That didn't last long. I played basketball probably in middle school. High school, tried out for the team, made the team after football. And the funniest thing happened. So after football season, we lose in the playoffs. I do a few practice because you have to do a few practice before you can play. And I'm sitting there, coaches, like coach. I know coach wants to play me, but I know that I'm just coming, and there's a lot of better players than me. So he's trying to put me in and out, and the crowd's like, "We want Joe." I'm a football guy, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if I can do all this." And I regret it still till today. At the end of the game, told coach, "Hey, you know what? I don't know, man. I can't do the we want Joe. I'm used to playing. I'm used to being out here." But it's one of my regrets.
No question about it, man. So after high school, you go to a JUCO to play football, and it's crazy because here I am having my women's basketball week. You're on my women's basketball week, and here we are talking about you playing football. You understand what I'm saying? So so you went out to college to play football. Talk about that experience.
Here's a crazy story. 2 weeks before I'm supposed to report to camp at Hudson Valley, I break my, well, it wasn't 2 weeks, might have been a week. I broke my collarbone riding a bike. And, I had to sleep on a couch to get everything back. As soon as I got up there, like this 300-400 guys. Anyone that knows anything about Hudson Valley when Bob Boquette was running it, 300-400 guys will show up. So it's just like, it doesn't matter if they recruited you. What matters is your 40 time and what you can lift. So I get up there, I can't put up the 225, and I never even got a chance to catch a ball. Wow. And, so I just sat out. I worked in the athletic department, and I met a few guys. Trey, that's a police officer now in New York City, big-time police officer. Lance Grant from Boys and Girls High. And they're like, "Yo, Joe," they lived across from me. We would always play pickup. And they would tell me how much I suck in basketball, but I play football pickup, I tell how much they suck. So they say, "Yo, try out for the team. Try out for the team, make the team." I'm like the 9th man, 10th man. They call me D-pill. All I do is go in and play defense. I played that 1 year, and then the next year I went back to football because I realized there was I was an energy guy.
Right.
Yeah.
No question. Okay, so that was the end of basketball for you.
That was it. Next year I played football at Hudson Valley, then transferred over to Albany University. Played there for 2 years. We won 2 championships. I think we actually lost 2 games at Albany. We won 2 championships at Albany, and then that's it. Then I went to the corporate world.
Okay, so again, let's talk about obviously what you do now with your NYG report is very respected throughout, not just the state, but throughout the country. You're a respected voice and you're a respected mind. one of the hardest working guys in the business. If you're not writing something, you're taking the pictures. If you're not taking the pictures, you're doing an event. But let's talk about the genesis of everything that you do now, and take me back there, and
I,
let's kind of bring it current a little bit.
I hit 30. I was 30 years old, and I'm sitting at the office. I just won Salesman of the Year for MCI. MCI just merged with Verizon. And I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, there's a guy that sits right next to me. He's been working there for 30 years, and they walked him out.
Mm.
And every day I walk in, I'm just drawing football plays on a piece of paper. But it's just when I go out, for some reason, I'm able to acquire accounts. So I wouldn't say I'm a salesman more than I'm a consultant. But I'm watching people get fired around me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm 30 years old. Let me give up. Let me give this all up, and let me go try football. So I called my buddy at the time that works with the Patriots, and I'm like, look, I want to be a scout. So he's saying, well, if you want to be a scout, you need football experience. One of my teammates from Albany gets the head coaching job at Hudson Valley. He tells me, hey, if you want a job, you don't even have to apply. You're in. But then when I get up there, he tells me you get $2,000 a year.
Wow.
So I go from making like six figures, and he's telling me you get $2,000 a year.
Wow.
Now I'm up there. I'm working at the Best Western in Troy. And I'm just working, trying to do odd jobs. I'm just doing football, but I'm passionate about it. So I set a goal for myself. I said by 35, I need to be a full-time coach. Probably by 33, I get a job at by 33, I get a call from my guy. He tells me, hey, look, I got a job for you. No, first I go to Milford for a year, and I'm coaching a whole bunch of Power 5 guys. But by 33, 34, I get a call, hey, I got a job for you to coach Globe. It's a full-time job. I take the job. Then things blew up at Globe. It didn't work out like how I thought it would. The very next year, they say, hey, come to ASA. We're building up a program. Go to ASA, and everything they tell me was going to be just what they said it was going to be. We're going to have scholarships. We're going to be able to get guys. But then you realize we have scholarships. We can go get guys. We don't have a field.
Right.
We don't have nothing but just dorms, and we have to sell to kids from all over the country that Brooklyn is their.
Right.
So we do a pretty good job of that. We get football rolling, and the women's basketball coach, she sat like across from me. So like she would always ask on Saturdays. I would go into work every day. I'd go as long as the building was open, I was there. So on Saturday, she would always ask me for a ride. So this Saturday, I'm like, yo, why you always ask me to take you to the same place? And then she's like, I'm like, yo, why don't you just get your man to come get you? Why you getting me to do it? She's like, nah, just chill. She's like, come inside with me real quick. Come inside with me. So I walk inside, and I'm watching girls play basketball. And I'm watching, I'm trying to tell her, and I'm trying to tell her, like, I kind of understand basketball, but she doesn't think I understand basketball. And I'm telling her, hey, you know that? I see that kid right there. That kid right there, she dribbled it. Every time she dribbles it with her left hand, 2 or 3 times with a certain rhythm, she picks it up. So she picks up on it, and then she said, well, how do you figure that out? I said, well, it's just like when you train kids. When you train kids, they pick the rhythm of what you're doing, kind of. And I said, there's 2 types of basketball players. A player that trains on a specific rhythm and cadence, like rapping, or there's like the latchkey kid that plays 21 and everything goes. He never loses the handle. So the next weekend, I'm sitting at the desk, and I'm swearing she's going to ask me to come with her again. She tells me, hey, do me a favor. Can you go watch the game? I watch the game. It was at Rose Classic. I'm watching the game. I come back. I give her the notes. She said, you know what? Like, I can understand this. This is retarded, but you can't spell for nothing. You need to keep doing this. So every week, like, I kept trying to find new things to actually go see and do. And that's how I got involved with girls basketball.
And the game is better for it. So when you're out there and you're looking at talent, like you start evaluating talent at a very, very early age. Talk about what you see in a young in a young player. Let's take a sixth grader for instance. You know, it's easy. It's easy to, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but when I see a girl in the 11th grade, you kind of see where it is. But anything can happen from sixth grade up until high school. You know what I mean? So, what do you see in a young kid? You know, when you're evaluating a kid at one of your younger events.
It's crazy. The first thing I try to look for is the parent. You look for the parent. Like, you know, like the fruit, you see the mom's about 5'10", the dad's 6'2". She's, you know, in the sixth grade, she's 5'4", 5'5". There's still potential. Then you look at the body types, and then you look at the specific skill set. Certain things translate all over. If a kid can shoot, can hit left hand and right hand layups and knows the fundamentals, that just translates. Now, if they can shoot, and I think that's a skill that, like, that people, she shoots it too well. So if you watch those 3 or 4 things at an early age, you know it just translates as they get older. And you know they've worked on somewhat. So there'll be some kind of work ethic. You watch that, you look at the parents, that gives you a good gauge of certain things. Or sometimes it's just the program.
Right. So, you know, I had Dan Olson on, you know, last night from the collegiate girls report. And, you know, one of the questions I asked him too was like, you know, everybody starts somewhere. You understand what I'm saying? And what's the difference between what you do and the respect that you have from like college coaches as a respected person? And let's say if I wanted to put out the Dozier report tomorrow, I could easily take your report and say who's good and kind of say the same thing. So, you know, how do you, you know, talk about how you networked with coaches over the year to get that respect from coaches that if Joe says that he's a pretty good player.
You know the only reason I'm home right now?
Is because why?
Because of you. So every night tonight, I've gone out to watch a different kid at a different program.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that separates me from a lot of people. Like, I don't care. I'll just keep going out. I just want to find kids. You know, not saying that other people don't, but to me, I think that's the thing. I'm not as smart as most of these guys. I'm not as good looking. I can't write as well as them. I'm not as crafty as them, but they can't. I'm not gonna let no one outwork me. We have 24 hours in the day, and I'm gonna maximize the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the thing.
So you run 1 million events, and I might not be exaggerating.
That's not true.
I might not be exaggerating. I might not be exaggerating. Either you run 1 million events or you run a whole bunch of them in a short period of time. So
I'll tell you what it is. When I'm going to an event or when I'm at an event, I treat it as if it's mine. Okay. If you allow me the platform to come to your event, I don't care if we compete every day in business. I take the pride that you let me in, and when I go on Twitter and Instagram, the outside people don't know that it's not my event because I treat it as if it's mine. So I think that's the thing. So sometimes people think that I'm associated with something, and I'm not, because I put a certain passion in the work.
So when you so the events that you run, your C2C All American, you got your Friday Night Lights coming up and stuff like that. Like, talk about the reasoning behind. Obviously, like, you're here to give kids exposure and stuff, but you know, some people give exposure to get something back. You know what I mean? Talk about what separates your events from other ones that you've seen.
I don't think nothing's. I don't think nothing separates what I do and no one else. I think we're all the same. I just think one thing that I pride myself in is I always ask myself, what's the end user getting out of this? You know what I mean? So with the C2C, not every kid that comes is going to be a scholarship kid. But I know I'm giving them a pair of shorts. I'm giving them a T-shirt, and they're in a room with some of the best high school coaches in the Northeast trying to recruit them. So if they play well, they may get a high school look. If it's an AU look, or I don't know what the look that they came for, they may get it. In addition to if they don't play well, at least they get a pair of shorts, they get seen. So that's what I always try to put my hat on. What does the end user get? Because if I was spending my money for mine, I'd ask, what am I getting out of this? If that makes any sense.
Right. No question. No question about it. And I think that, obviously what I know about you is you will go and stay busy and look for players. So I want to know, and I asked Dan this the other night as well, is there are some parents out there that are starving for attention for their kids. So they come to a Joe Fenelon event. Has there ever been any like favors offered? Hey Joe, if you do this for me, can you make my kid, can you write an article on my kid? Like, what are some of the crazy requests, if any, that you got?
I don't get those requests.
Okay.
Because I can't and I'll say this. It might not be the business. I can't do nothing for no one's kid. Your kid physically has to come and perform. And when they perform, they're coming for exposure. You provide the platform for exposure. But I can't physically do for a kid. Or I can't write nothing. You have to do your part. And and like I said, if a kid comes to an event, they don't play well, that doesn't mean that they're not a player. Mm-hmm. It just means that they didn't play well that day. But there's other things you pick up on, and you can see whether they're good players, whether it's not just scoring. Mm-hmm. So like I said, so with me, there's no fair. Here's the thing, and I think this is what kills me more than anything else. I don't know how many parents are going to see this, but they'll probably laugh. I don't talk to parents. The most I say is hi. I don't talk to parents because my stance on it, I don't want to be friends with the kids. I don't want to be friends with the parents because although I enjoy watching the kids grow, because you see them grow in front of you. Like if you see a kid in the 5th grade, so I enjoy that part of the process to see them grow as people, their games, but I don't really want nothing to do with them because here's the thing. You know how many times I see kids get hurt? And everyone that's attached to them spend not a minute with them in an emergency room, doesn't pay the copay, and move on to the next kid. So my thing is I watch the kids. I appreciate seeing them grow. I appreciate seeing them grow as people, but I don't have personal connections with these kids. I think it's kind of weird. I'm 45, 46 years old. Why should I be friends with a 12-year-old? So that's just me. I think it's kind of weird.
No question about it. No question about it. So, like I said, you evaluate kids from a young age up through middle school, through high school, and then you see some of these kids make college choices. Kids that you've seen and evaluated over the years. I say it time and time again, and I probably said it more times than none. If anybody's watching this that watches any of my shows, they know I say this all the time. A kid choosing a school based on the name and not what's the right fit for them. So talk about, and like I'm not asking you to name names, but there has been some opportunities where some kids you evaluated have made some college decisions and you be like, yo, that's a bad look for them. Like, that's not the right level. Talk about that.
I don't think it's just about the bad look. I think what happens a lot of times is people want to win the signing day war. So there's people that want to win the signing day war, and you look, and on signing day, they got the hat, they feel good. But 2 years from then, it's how you're going to feel. Like, there was a kid, God, what's this kid's name? God, she played at Howard for Coach Ty. So the crazy thing is Coach Ty had an assistant, Sherelle. I did an event in June. I called it the Super 64. And Sherelle showed up at the time because they were at New Haven. They were D2 school. And these type of events, what I do is I make it free for D2 coaches and D3 and JUCOs. I just give them the packets. So Sherelle's at the event. Sherelle looks at the kid. Sherelle says, I like this kid. She tells Ty about the kid. So they offer the kid a week or two later. The kid went to St. Anthony's. St. Anthony's won the state and the federation in 2000. Was it 2000? I don't remember the year. They won the state. She was part of that team. But the kid didn't have an offer. There was 3 or 4 other kids on her team with offers. Long story short, she gets a D2 offer from New Haven at this rinky-dink event. 2 weeks later, that staff's at Howard. She's the first offer at Howard. Kid scores 1,000 points in college. He didn't score 1,000 points in high school.
Wow.
So, I think that kid won because that kid just kind of went through the process and trusted everything and didn't go with the biggest. She went with a relationship. So because she had a relationship with a D2 staff, it turned into a Division I staff that she had a relationship with. Long story short, kid played 4 years, scored 1,000 points. I think she missed the last 10 or 12 games of her career. She got injured. But think about it. Kid scored more points in college and high school.
Right. But, but that's a great story. But this transfer portal is out of control. Like, there's a lot of kids out there that's making the wrong decisions or whatever the case may be. So, like, what do you attest that to?
I don't have one answer to it, but I do. But I'm going to make a prediction. Not this year, the following year. Not this year coming up, but that following year, we will break the transfer portal. We will break it. We will break it because too many kids are committing without never seeing a school. So when you think about how many kids are committing without seeing a school, then you think about how many coaches didn't get let go this year. And kids are going to walk into situations with new staffs. So I just think we'll break the portal.
That's what I'm talking about. And honestly, I believe you on that because now how can, and that's part of my whole thing. How are kids making decisions without seeing the colleges? Like when I came up, we got 5 visits. I took my 5. I couldn't wait to take my 5 visits. You know what I'm saying? But how do you make a decision on a school? So to me, that's part of the problem. How do you make a decision on a school that you haven't seen?
I think, like I told you, I just think like we're in a time right now of information. So I think like I said this to someone 5 or 6 years ago. I said basketball's become gentrified.
Okay. I got that. So
I'll come.
You there?
Back. I'll repeat that.
Please.
Too much. I didn't hear you.
Can you hear me? All right. Say that again.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right.
I think we're in the era 5 or 6 years ago where I call it the gentrification of basketball. So if money, you can't play basketball. You almost have to be middle class to play basketball. I think what happened is when I played basketball, you played for someone that gave you lunch, that you got in their car, that they helped you do homework, that yelled at you, that punished you. It became an extension of your family. So when you left that team, there was kind of like a void, an attack. There was something really missing. Now I just think it's more transaction. So I pay you, I play on this team, and that's it. So there's no real attachment. Kids to events, and that's it. So it's a different time. I think that trickled college. The parents, when the kids go to college, they're far way more educated than the parents were 10, 15 years ago. So, you know, they go into college and they already with the transfers in the back pocket. You know, transfers in the back pocket. So they kind of hold some of these coaches, some of them hostage. And I just think the whole thing is, it's different. It's a different time. Basketball is gentrified. So basketball is just an extra. As opposed to, I think, 15, 20 years ago, it was more kids playing that needed basketball for the education.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense.
No, I like that. So do you feel like also not so much just, okay, information is part of it. Obviously, money has changed the game too. You know what I mean? Because everybody's making some type of buck. There's more trainers. Trainers didn't exist when we were coming up.
But it goes back to what I said to you. The coach was the trainer. The coach was the nurse. The coach was the bus driver. So that's why when you left a guy before, the guy wouldn't talk to you. He really hated you. But now when you leave a guy, it's different. It was a transition. Yo, dude, I paid you the bread. Like, I'm off to the next team. See you. I love you still, coach, because you're just looking to move up the ranks, and you know through paying you'll figure it. So I think it's different. And I just think even like when you look at the events, so like people keep saying that there's too many events. Is that there's always been events. But who's the rapper that said there's levels to this? Who's the rapper that says?
I don't know. I'm not a hip hop person.
Okay, but there's a rapper that said there's levels to this, and I would say even at 6 or 7 years ago, dudes couldn't just get into any event. Your money wasn't good. Someone had to vouch for you. You had to have 3 kids on your team that people knew.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, did you hear what I said, or did you
hear what I said? Over. The last thing we heard was we heard like you had to know 3 people to get into the event.
No, you used to have at least 3 kids on your team in an event. And anyone that's been around know what I'm talking about. You didn't get into Boo. Your credit card just wasn't good enough. So now I just think like with everything becoming so much bigger, anyone can play in an event. So I can put a team together tomorrow. I can go to Boo and I can say I won Boo. But in reality, I won the penny copper nickel division. But I'm never going to say it. And I just think it's
right.
Different. Before, it was different. You only got a certain amount of teams in. And then the people that you paid attention to are the people that sat there on Sunday. Because what a lot of people act like they forgetting, Boo is 3 games guaranteed. Mm-hmm. So you play your 2 maybe on Friday or on Saturday, and there's people that's driving home Saturday night.
Right.
So it's different, man. I just think it's different now where it's bigger, it's more inclusive, and I think that's created a situation where you can't, if you're not paying attention, you don't really know.
Right. No question about it. So the events that you go to, you've been to enough events to know a good event from a bad event. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know an event is what it is. You got to get the teams there, whatever the case may be. It could be because the promoter's making money, whatever, that's fine. But as long as the event is ran official, you understand what I'm saying? That's one thing. But you've been to some bad events too. Like, what the hell am I doing here? Or what the hell are they doing here? So talk about that too, because to me, that's also part of the problem.
I think and this is gonna sound like cliche. I don't think no one puts them together with the idea of being bad. I just think sometimes things happen that people don't foresee, or sometimes I just think like people miscalculate things, but I don't think people put things together, because at the end of the day, hope not, because we're dealing with kids. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, no matter how much money you want to make, you got to remember there's a client base that you're trying to take care of, and it should be those kids. And then the next part should be the college coaches. So if you're not taking care of your business, how long do you plan on, So like I said, for the most part, I think most events tend to be good. They have the right intention. Sometimes things happen. Like I was at USJN one year, and anyone that's been around more than 7 or 8 years will tell you the time that the fucking air conditioner went out. I'm sorry, oops. The air conditioner went out in DC. Bro, it's 100 degrees, and there's no AC in an 8-court facility. Coaches are running to the supermarket buying deodorant. This shit's crazy. But in terms of talent, the level of talent on the floor, coaches had to stick around and watch.
Right.
So would you say that was a bad event or a bad situation?
Definitely a bad situation, but there's also the tournament that when you first walk in there, it's already, this ain't organized at all. That's what I'm talking about. An AC going out, that's one thing. I get it. Like circumstances beyond your control is one thing, but when you walk right in the door that these people done took these people's money and this thing ain't one bit organized. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's, to me, that's part of the problem. Kids coming to these events looking for exposure.
Like what you have to remember too is there's different types of exposure. Like I said, it's levels to it. So if a guy is a D3 guy and you're going to his event and D3 coaches there, that's exposure.
Right.
That's what that event is for. Now, if a guy is connected with other people or a guy has a different network and you go to that event, that does something different. So I just think it's different levels to it. And I think sometimes people just don't inform people, and that can be a problem where you got like a kid in there that's probably going to play overseas, and there's D3 coaches. But then again, there's kids that don't care about that.
Mm-hmm.
They're there just to ball and take care of whoever's out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I haven't been to many bad ones. I've probably been to one or two, but I do events, so if I say something, I'm a hater, so I wouldn't do that.
Okay. I'll let you have that one because I'm gonna say it. So you know what I mean? So whatever. Tell me where you think the women's basketball game is going. Do you think it's going in the right direction? Like you've been around it for a while, like what I mean? Like we're trying to get, more and more resources, whatever. Where do you think the game is going?
I think the game is headed in a good space. I think what we need to do is we need to do a better job of educating these women. I think, too many people will try to kind of use the women, but don't educate them. And because you're not educating them on other things, so like there's not enough women involved in the game. It's women's basketball. There should be more women involved, but I just think a lot of people try to keep the women out. And I think that, that's a place that we should do a better job. Because like, look, kids are finishing off college. There's no reason that kids shouldn't be working at their AAU programs. Because if they don't need to want to coach, just work with your AAU coach, be an assistant. That might get you to grad school for free. Because then another school might say, oh, she know all the kids. We bring her on, at least I might get them to a visit or two. That might hook us up with that coach. And the person might not want to coach. They might want to go be an administrator. They might want to be a doctor or a nurse. But at least they're getting grad school out of it. But I just think we're not doing a good job keeping the young women involved. But then again, it goes what I said with the gentrification of basketball. You get middle-class kids, their parents are kind of already forcing what they see in the kid. But when you get a kid, a poor kid that basketball is the out, the parent don't really know. So the kid comes out more like, hey, I got a degree. What's next? And they need to lean on other people to help them. And, if those people are doing the right things, now those are the people that start doing what me and you are doing. Those are the people that become the coaches. Those are the people that, you know, do other things. But I think it becomes harder and harder to get good people involved in basketball, especially at the grassroots level, if we're not serving a population of the people. Because when you look, most of the people that are serving these kids didn't grow up.
Right. So the 5 words I hate the most in grassroots basketball.
What?
Blessed to receive and offer. I've never seen so many blessings in my life. You understand what I'm saying? I need your take. I need your take on offers. Talk to me about offers.
To me, it's all a game. It's all a game. Like, if a kid didn't take the SAT or ACT, I don't know how they can have an offer. You know, so it comes down to who your coach is. So if I offer a kid and you only got one Division I kid in your program, I can renege on that offer tomorrow. What you gonna do? You only got one kid. I ain't never gotta see you again. But you know, the programs that have 10 or 15 or 20 kids, some of them have a ground to stand on because you may not be able to recruit none of their kids after that. But some of them don't even care because they have, you know, they have scouting services, so they'll do whatever because the school will buy the scouting service and make it okay. But for the most part, a lot of this, you know, if you have a lot of kids, people are afraid to offer your kids because they know they have to stand by it.
Right.
So I think it's a game, and the kids and their parents understand it. If you're right that such and such offered you from, like, I'll use Siena because that's upstate. Now, maybe Albany has to look at you, or other teams in Siena's conference have to look at you. I just one big game.
Okay, I can deal with that. It's just a personal thing of mine that drives me crazy. So I like to talk to people and to know about it. Let me hear what you think, because I know all these offers ain't official. I know all these offers ain't official all the time, and I do agree with that. If one person in the conference is recruiting, the other teams in the conference got to take a look. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to get outdone.
And that's it.
So
I just think it's a sport. It's a sport. That becomes a sport within itself. And, you know, and sometimes people know, like, look, how many offers could this one school have, bro? You only have 12 or 15 scholarships.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
I just think it becomes what team you play for, how serious that scholarship really is.
Right. So as we start to wrap up, I want to just ask a couple of quick hitters.
Hmm?
Has there ever been a kid? No, I'm not gonna say has there ever. Who was the kid that you've seen from the first time you've seen them that has grown the most in your eyes?
Like, so grown in terms of what? A person?
Of their game as a player, definitely as a player.
Arella Guarantee. She's at Rutgers right now. So it's crazy, right? First time I saw her, she used to play, God, what's the other kid she was on team with? She was on like a Riverside team. I'm out in Long Island or Nassau County. I'm watching the game, and at the end of the game, these kids lose, and she crying. I'm like, this is, crying. So I'm like, I go over and I talk to the kid. Like, hey, what's your name? Arella Guarantee. She's crying. I'm like, well, why are you crying? I'm asking her, why are you crying? And she said, well, we don't lose. Fast forward a few years later, I kept telling people how good she was. No one would listen. I told, what was my man name at Texas Tech? My man from Texas Tech. I'm not going to say I told him. He called me. And he asked me, hey, well, how good do you think she is? I'm like, bro, there's a kid that, you know, a top 30 kid in the country, and she plays her all the time, and she outdoes her. Like, the kid can kind of go. So the kid prepped one year, went to Texas Tech, and was all rookie at Texas Tech. And now she's at Rutgers killing. Mm-hmm. But to see the growth, and I think the thing that I liked most about that kid was she believed in herself. She knew how good she was. Her dad would tell you all the time. And that was the excuse of her dad is crazy, her dad is crazy. But she backed it up. But everyone would try to act like they didn't see what she was doing. And now she's in the Big Ten. I'm sure she'll be preseason Big Ten Player of the Year. So I think that's a kid, when you watch the evolution of that kid, she believed in herself from day one. And people act like they didn't see it, and now they just got to deal with it.
I definitely like that. And she actually lives where I live at. So I saw her get to play in high school. So I, what I mean?
Oh,
like,
so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know
I'm
she
not
is.
bugging.
Yeah, absolutely. So who, because you're in New York City, I'm going to give the last 5 years, in your opinion, the best to come out of New York City in the last 5 years.
I don't think, her college career ended the way she probably thought, or all of us probably thought, was Bianca Cuevas. I think she was a rock star. Mm-hmm. She was like a rock star. Like, she was a rock star. That's the only way I can say that. She's like one of the only few kids that I kind of have a relationship with, which was weird, because there was a point where I was getting tired of doing this, and I was going to stop. And I remember one day she went on Facebook. She inboxed me, "Hey, ugly, you didn't come to the game the other day. What's up?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even think the kid would realize that." And I missed a few games. And then I started going back, and when she made the championship run, I think her freshman year, I went back. But I think that kid was a rock star. Like, it was crazy, bro. Like, in other places, it like, you go all throughout the state. So there's a big game at, like, Gates Chili. It sells out because Gates Chili is Gates Chili. It's the only thing in town. So if there's a good game at Saratoga, it sells out. Niskayuna, it sells out because that's the whole town. But in New York City, there's 2 pro basketball teams, 2 pro football teams, 3 hockey teams. So, like, there's multiple college teams. No one don't care about girls basketball. So when you go to her games, like, it's different. It's not that all of them were sold out, but it's just the level of people that you would see it. Not college coaches. That was the part that would get you. It's not college coaches. So the best boys players are there. Like, they're just like, and they're like, you jacking with them for position on the baseline. Right. They want to admit they hit. And I think that was kind of different.
Okay, so Bianca, okay, yeah, nah, she was definitely a good one.
Bro, I tell you like this, Terrell. I tell you like this. She is still the cheese code on Instagram and Twitter. If you tweet still now, you'll end up with multiple likes and retweets, and because it's like, what's the thing Jay-Z said? The only B I acknowledge. It's like, the only B we acknowledge is kind of Bianca in New York.
No question about it. So, give me now. So she's the one. Give me your top 5 now. You can only have a point guard. You can't mix them up. It's got to need 1 point guard. I need a shooting guard, small forward, and I want you to put them on the floor right now, and you can coach them to a win. Yep, and you can coach them to a win. And I know you can't coach, but you can coach these girls to a win.
We're going to lose. I'm calling time out. I don't really want to do it, but I'll tell you like this. The first kid would be Breanna Stewart.
Okay.
Breanna Stewart would be the first kid. I like it. The second kid, these are going to be kids. Some of the kids you're not going to, like, people ain't going to really know. Sierra Dillard.
Okay.
I don't know. You know Sierra Dillard?
Heard of her.
It's a kid that played for Gates Chili. Like, she was cold. She the one that helped Buffalo go on that run a few years ago.
Okay.
I'll definitely got to pick Sierra Calhoun because I think what happened with Sierra Calhoun, a lot of people don't really see it. Sierra Calhoun didn't play in a true Christ the King environment. At the time that Sierra Calhoun played at Christ the King, Nazareth was more the Christ the King, where they had 7, 8 Division I kids on the floor at a time. Like, so I think And every year she would kind of lose to them, kind of. And I just think that was that was different. That one kid, she never had more than 2 kids on her team.
Right.
And she battled.
Right.
So Dillard, Calhoun, Bianca's already in, right?
Yeah, she's in. So you only get one more. You only get one more.
It's too many, man.
That ain't my problem.
It's too many. I'm trying to. Boom.
You get
I'm
one
gonna tell
more.
you. I'm gonna tell you a kid, right? I'm gonna tell you, and a lot of people ain't gonna like. I don't even care. Jasmine Odom.
Who? What's her name? Jasmine.
Jasmine Odom. I'm just throwing that name out, but I can go with Sanaya Chung.
Mm-hmm. Got you.
You heard me? Chung? We can go with Sanaya Chung as the 5th. But you know what? That's only 4.
Nah, you got 5.
Bianca don't count. Bianca's already in-house.
But if you're giving me 5 players on the floor, you're gonna take her anyway. I'll let you have a 6-man. I'll give you a 6-man.
Okay. Don't send an order. Like okay. Jasmine, you heard of Sanaya Chung, right?
Yep.
But you never heard of Jasmine Odom.
No.
If anyone got anything to say, go see Jasmine Odom. If there's any JUCO coaches on here, this is played like 4 or 5 different JUCOs, bro. Everyone tried to help her. This kid was like the coldest. I don't care what no one says. She was the coldest. Like when she came to play, there was nothing you can do about it. And like she didn't even need to play the whole game. She needed to play like a 6-minute stretch.
Wow. Right.
Someone asked where she at, bro. She back. She's the time. She played ball a little bit, but she never really she wasn't really a school kid. That wasn't her thing. She grew up a tough life. Like she went to South Shore. She figured out how to get out of high school. She kept trying to college, but it just didn't work. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's hard to get a kid, in her situation out of the city. You know what I mean? You can't get the city out. And the crazy thing, I'm on a flight one time flying somewhere. I'm sitting like I'm not like I'm right at the front. It was one of those airlines where you could pick your own seat. So I jumped to the front, and she's getting on late, and she's like, "Joe!" I'm like, "Oh shit, TSA